think it won't be easy. No, I think there's going to have to be some negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, to bring a settlement.
No way.
Why do you think that?
6 years of experience. The OPP, as far as I'm concerned, are useless.
Probably not. Don't think so.
Why not?
Well, they won't do anything. They're afraid of upsetting the natives, I guess. That's the way I feel.
Are you concerned that this is the case?
Yeah. It was pretty brutal the last time.
Indeed it was. Caledonia is ground zero for native land disputes in this country. And now tension is brewing again as this sleepy farming town tries to take their community back. The county council has voted overwhelmingly to remove a metal blockade that has divided the town and is holding the residents back from living a normal, peaceful life. But threats from Six Nations suggest this blockade's not going anywhere without a fight. Let's bring in Rebecca Thompson, as well as Ross McLean. Good to have you both with us. Rebecca, you were up in Caledonia today. You spoke with a number of people. What's the mood of the town?
Well, people are obviously frustrated because this blockade is a stark reminder of what happened in 2006, where there was complete unlawfulness.
Yep.
In fact, it was one of the most violent Aboriginal protests in Canadian history.
It's the first time as a reporter that we had to go with armed security guards to a story. That's how scary it was.
Yeah, and you know, this isn't being resolved anytime soon. And the difference is that this blockade, which has been there for the past 8 years, for whatever reason, the natives have decided to now block the road with it. So it's a symbol of the aggression that people remember from 2006. I spoke with, for example, the local member of provincial parliament who's frustrated that there was a lack of inaction of the Ontario Provincial Police in the past, and that in this case, removing the blockade, which is what the local town council wants to have happen, they just voted this on Monday, you know, the OPP may not be able to keep the peace if, in fact, this heats up again.
All right, here's Toby Barrett here, who you spoke with today.
It still remains, as I understand, an OPP no-go zone. People know enough not to go back in there. It can be dangerous. There can be confrontations. So I don't feel there's an appetite for confrontation. It's been 8 years. We remain in essentially a stalemate, and people just want to see things move on. We want to start building houses again in this area.
All right, so Rebecca, why now? Like, why all of a sudden? It's been since 2006. They've had to learn to live with this blockade. Why all of a sudden now are they pushing the envelope on this?
Well, the only thing that I've heard is the fact that there was some altercations on this particular land. This is land that was previously owned by land developers that the province, Dalton McGuinty, purchased. Yeah. And there have been natives living on this land illegally. And there were some altercations about a month ago, and this blockade was moved, which is this gigantic metal blockade, was moved from the side of the road to block the road. And what town council is saying is they need road access, for example, for fire trucks to get through. And you know, my interpretation of this is the town council saying enough is enough. Yeah. You know, let's remove this symbol of aggression once and for all.
Yeah, look, whoever they get to remove it, which will be a local contractor, is going to have to do it. I don't know who would want to do it because it's got to be a scary job, but they're going to have to do it under the watchful eye of the OPP. But Ross, as we watched back in 2006, anytime there's problems up there, the OPP have not acted. And obviously from the comments we heard at the top of the segment, people have lost faith in the policing.
There's certainly the people in the town have lost confidence in what's going on there. And let's be honest, it's a tough situation to win at. And I think what the police are going to have to do if they get involved in this dispute, and it's essentially a civil dispute, they get involved, is they're going to have to explain very clearly what they're doing and what they're not doing and why they're doing it or why they're not doing it, so that people at least get a chance to understand.
Right, but you know, this started out in 2006. You know, these guys unlawfully walked onto a property and simply said, we'll take it. And if you don't listen to us, we'll beat you up. And that's what happened to a lot of people. So the town lives in fear of these people. And I don't get the sense that they have much faith anything's going to change. The province essentially threw money at this, hoping the problem would go away, and nothing's happened. So we have a small town in Canada living under two different sets of laws.
Well, as Rebecca points out, it seems like what council is doing here is they want to move the game up and they want to get something to happen so that somebody else will step in and do the job and fix it. It's going to be tough for the police who are in the middle. I mean, look, I sat with a very senior Crown attorney last week and I talked to him about civil court orders, and he says they don't like dealing with them in criminal courts. He says the order has to be very specific, who's on the right side, who's on the wrong side, and they have to be able to prove who did what, and they really don't like touching them in the criminal courts, and the police don't like touching them.
Certainly, they don't like touching them when it comes to dealing with Native issues. No one wants to deal with this, but the leaders of the Six Nations have already come back and said, you go near that blockade, which is very symbolic to them, you're going to have trouble. So they're already threatening, quite openly.
Well, the issue with the town council, as I understand, is that the blockade was moved to block the road, and nobody told the town council. So the town council said, well, fine, then we're going to vote to move the blockade once and for all. You know, it got to the point where the local neighborhood, and I was there today, and the local neighborhood is situated right next to this land. They had to introduce a resident response plan because they felt as though the OPP wasn't going to protect them. You know, and the last thing the neighborhoods and the residents there want is for this to have to happen again, where they have to take matters into their own hands in order to protect themselves.
Sure. Well, not to mention, it could be worse. They could just go in and occupy more land and therefore keep pushing the town back. Unless the Premier wants to step into this, and I don't get the sense that Kathleen Wynne wants to, and from comments we've heard in the past, it sounds like, you know, she wants to work with First Nations. I mean, she calls this their territory, so I'm not sure if she's already suggesting that she'll give in to whatever they want. It's going to take strong leadership by both police and politicians, and I'm not sure the appetite is there.
Well, we're not seeing any leadership there, are we? We're seeing the natives are pushing it, the council is pushing it. They're going to bring a contractor in to do something. The police are going to be called in.
What contractor would want to go into that situation? Because whoever does the job is looking at putting their life on the line. I don't want to be dramatic about it, but that's how violent it got last time.
Yeah, and interestingly, there's a corridor of power towers, and they haven't actually had power lines put into them because they were being built by Hydro One prior to 2006. When all of this happened, and when the natives tried to blow up the local transmission box, you know, Hydro One said, that's it. We're not going to continue on with this project at a loss of millions of dollars to taxpayers, a hydro project, because of the fact that this problem is still ongoing.
And no one obviously sees a resolution in sight. You know, a bunch of radicals went in and created their own law and did whatever they want, and they've been allowed to. So I don't think there's any reason why the folks of that town should feel like it's going to be any different this time. So where do you see this thing going? What's the next step in it? Well,
I don't believe that they're going to be able to secure this contractor anytime soon, because what the town council wants is for the OPP and the contractor to both be there, the OPP to keep the peace, the contractor to remove this. The local residents certainly don't want another altercation, so I'm not sure if this is going to be resolved in the next couple of months. What I would like to see is the province step up and show some responsibility and some leadership.
It's the least they could do for these people.
Absolutely.
We'll keep watching. Rebecca? Ross, thank you.
Yeah, let's hope they cool it off rather than heat it up, the province.
That's what you would hope for. Thank you.